Today's a huge day for us because we have spent the last month scouting the 2023 rookie running back class.
It's all happening.
Let me tell you what, this was a very fun process. We have scouted 10 of the running backs. There's going to be players that we might have missed. Comment down below. Let us know what running back we might not have talked about that you're excited about.
Correct.
Or players that we are low on that you're high on. Let's get straight to it. We have not seen each other's top 10 rankings just yet. No. And these are obviously very, very subject to change, as there's an entire year left to play of college for all these players. But, all right, a graphic's going to come up here. This is the first time I'm seeing Badake's. This is the first time he's seeing mine.
Oh, boy.
So I'm going to go ahead and paste my rankings here in this document. 3, 2, 1. All right, so I pasted my rankings there. Okay.
If you can, obviously you can see this on the screen right now.
Oh my goodness.
In order. Wow.
Okay. Let me tell you what. There are two players in particular that we are very different on, and we're going to get to that in 1 second.
Correct.
Why don't we cover the top 3, which I thought would be the same, but we're a little bit different here. Let's cover the top 2. Let's go to the top 2 here, okay? Because that's what we look like we can agree on. Bijan Robinson. Yeah. Don't want to spend too much time on Bijan Robinson, but I mean, in my notes, I said Bijan is a legit first-round running back in the 2023 NFL Draft. He can be the reason the offense absolutely transforms with his talent, his 100%. God-given abilities. He can be used all over the field, superstar. And by the way, the thing that really stood out the most to me about his game was the jump cut. The jump cut is lethal for Bijan Robinson. I mean, it is truly lethal. If you're in the open field, expect a jump cut. Can stop, start on a dime. Great vision behind. Very capable pass blocker. He has my highest grade as a running back in our system since we started doing this. Now, we were not, drafting the Saquon. We weren't scouting the Saquon Barkleys. So, I don't know where he would have stacked up there. But for me, he has my highest grade I've given a running back yet since we started scouting.
Yeah, everything that you said, you hit the nail on the head. I really love Bijan. I think what's really special to me about Bijan is his versatility, that he could be used in any single way, anywhere on the field. I saw somebody compare him, I guess, in his versatility, the way he is used as a CMC, and I do believe he could get that opportunity. He's going to be a pass-catching back in the NFL, and he's going to be a 1-2 down punch guy in the NFL as well, in my opinion. So, once again, everything you said is exactly what Bijan is. I love Bijan, the strength, the versatility, the mind, the power, the vision. I think it's all fantastic, and he will be a great running back in the NFL.
Yeah, I comped him. My comps were Saquon Barkley and Reggie Bush. That's kind of like, if you could combine those two players, that's kind of what it felt like to me. I know the Saquon is so cliche, but there's a little bit of Reggie Bush in him as well. Like, you can see that shades of Reggie, shades of Saquon.
Right.
Look, this is the type of player who, when he is drafted, he will instantly be in competition for the RB1 in 100%. Dynasty Football. Genuinely, that's 100%. How good Bijan Robinson is. And whenever he's drafted, it will be high, and he will be given a full workload from day one, so you won't have to worry about that workload. This is a special player, a very, very special player. So Bijan, to me, yes, the hype is very real on him. All right. I hope that you can put my tiers in this graphic so people can kind of see how I have it split up.
Absolutely.
My tier 2, I have also Jamhyr Gibbs. He's currently my running back 2. Tell me a little bit about what you liked about Jamhyr, because it looks like you gave him a slightly higher grade than me. However, I still like him, still my RB2, just like you.
Yeah, no, look, Jamhyr Gibbs was a guy before I even did the scouting, was the one guy that I just heard the name of, and I went to go look myself before I did my full scout evaluation, and I knew he was going to be special. The first player, the first thing I thought of was Alvin Kamara. He is a pass-catching back. He is a guy that can be a first and second down guy. Once again, kind of in my opinion, kind of like Bijan, his versatility, where he can be utilized in anywhere on the field. The vision was fantastic. The overall speed is great. That long speed, the burst as well. He can get from 0 to 100 really, really fast.
Real quick.
So I really, really believe he could be somebody special. He is going to be a PPR monster, especially in fantasy football. And I think this is exactly what we want. He may not hypothetically, he may not be a starting running back immediately. Maybe he's a backup for somebody like a Dalvin, like an Alvin, and then he transitions to be the guy. But he is no doubt going to be a starting running back in the NFL at some point of his career, and he will be a fantasy relevant running back. So I really love Jamhyr Gibbs, and now he's in Georgia. He went from Georgia Tech to Alabama now.
Now he's Alabama, yeah.
So now, I mean, the thought process is that he should elevate to a whole nother level. You know,
probably.
What's going to happen is that he is going to be massive. So I love Jamhyr Gibbs, and I love everything he's doing out there. So I'm actually really, really excited. He's one of my favorite prospects. If Bijan wasn't in this class, well, obviously he would be the one-on-one.
You know, Jamhyr is one of those players where now that he's at Alabama, the talent around him, if he doesn't have an incredible year, like truly an incredible year, I will be disappointed.
Yeah,
that's the kind of.
I think that's also the downfall of him transferring as well. Is like, it's
almost a compliment to him to say that. You know, last year at Georgia Tech, very different offense than what he's going to see. He accounted for 32% of his team's rushing attempts, but he was second in receiving yards on that team. So at Georgia Tech, which is, by the way, traditionally not a very pass-happy system. Georgia Tech's very much RPOs, Wildcats, running the ball. So to get 35 receptions for college, that's pretty impressive. Oh, and especially when you consider Georgia Tech, what they are as a program. My comp for him was Aaron Jones. I see the Alvin Kamara, but if I can, a combination of Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's just like the play style, the dreads, the arm tape. I think that's the first thing you think of when you watch.
Well, what I wrote down was think of what Aaron Jones can offer an NFL offense. Okay? That is exactly what Jamhyr Gibbs can offer an NFL offense as well. Okay? Because he can do the same thing. Great pass catcher, explosive in space. And this is a player who I might have had a little bit higher, but I want to see the fumbles come down slightly, okay?
Okay, yeah.
4 fumbles in the past 2 years. None were lost, but, you know, I just don't want to see any more than 1 or 2 fumbles this year. Like, let's not make that a problem when maybe volume comes into play.
Right.
You know, I was watching the Duke game. I saw a couple issues with that. So anyway, but as far as like PPR goes, like this dude will be considered in the top 5 of rookie drafts 100%. Because of what he can do through the air as well. Very explosive player, incredible burst, can start on a dime. You know, exactly like I said, think of Aaron Jones. I like Jamhyr Gibbs. This is where it gets weird though for our 2 lists. We're gonna give you a player who we think takes the biggest leap this year. Okay. So a running back we think that takes the biggest leap, and then a running back that is hyped that we're skeptical of. So why don't we go ahead and do that? And I'll start with the running back who I think is going to take the biggest leap this year, and that is Zach Evans, okay?
Right.
Now, to be honest with you, he would have actually been higher in my scouting grades if it weren't for the injury last year. The injury last year that kept him out half the year is something I absolutely do have to take note of. But Zach Evans is special, like very special. He would be my RB2. Again, if it weren't for that injury in my scouting grades. When Badake and I do this, we don't typically tell each other anything in this process when we're scouting positional groups. Like we want to scout the entire group first, make a video on it, and then discuss it so it's all raw. And I genuinely could not help myself after watching Zach Evans' film. I had to do something. I had to tell someone. So I went to Twitter and, you know, all of 3 people probably saw it, but I just said, Zach Evans, stop right now, watch the film. Like, this is the best thing that you can probably do today. Combination of burst, lateral quickness, long speed, open field awareness, versatility, and strength is rare. Let me tell you a little bit about Zach Evans. Stats will not impress you, okay? If you're only looking at Zach Evans' stat line, that's not going to impress you, but context is very key there. He only played 6 of 12 games last year. Again, at TCU, he did suffer a toe injury that kept him out for half of the year. All right, but keep in mind, with the 6 games that he played, he was incredible, genuinely incredible. Went over 100 rushing yards in 4 of the first 5 games of the season, including a career-high 190 rushing yards in a win over Cal week 2. 190 rushing yards. Again, I'll say that one more time. Went over 100 rushing yards in 4 of the first 5 games.
Right.
If we extrapolate his stats from the games that he did play across the entire season, he would have finished with a much more respectable stat line. Just under 1,300 rush yards, 10 touchdowns, 20 receptions, 2 touchdowns through the air. And my guy is averaging almost like 7 yards per carry as a workhorse. Look at the other workhorses in this class. Are they averaging 7 yards per carry? No, they are not. They're averaging around the 5.7, which is still very good. But my guy is making, like, every opportunity he gets, it is being taken with passion, with purpose. My main takeaways after watching his film, I talked about the burst is incredible, the lateral quickness, long speed, open field awareness, contact balance, very impressive, versatility. This is a 5-star recruit, and it is quite obvious when watching his film to me as to why. Can get to his top speed quickly, can stop start on a dime, very twitchy. And if a defender is going to tackle him, and if they even take the slightest wrong angle, it's gone. You're done for, okay? You have to be really aware of where he's going to be, especially on the offensive line. You need to know where the gaps are to stop, because if you don't, he's going to be by you. Another thing I noticed, an incredible goal line running back. Like, the awareness, I think, which is something that is very overlooked in prospects. His ability as a goal line running back is truly, truly special. Like, if not one of the best goal line running backs in this class. The awareness of how to contort your body to get the touchdown. If you're within a couple yards of the goal line, it's special. Like, he has great awareness on the goal line. And something I noticed as well, which I've talked about, when he's past the first line, some people can follow their offensive line, but what do they do when the offensive line's not there? Like, open field awareness is quite crucial for those long runs. When he's past the first line, he has great open field awareness. He knows where is the best space for me to attack right now. Let me do that at the same time I'm running 100 miles an hour, right? Here's my last thoughts. The thing, like, if I was to put an article out, this would be the headliner. This is exactly what I would say in a couple sentences. Zach Evans can be a game-changing NFL workhorse running back. He has a rare combination of skill sets that are hard to find. No clear weaknesses in his game to me. I can imagine him being drafted in the 2nd round this year and instantly being inside my top 12 of Dynasty rankings. My comp for him, ceiling, keep in mind, I'm saying the ceiling, Jamal Charles. More realistic, Melvin Gordon. That's probably what you're getting here is Melvin Gordon. So, look, to me, Zach Evans, it's one of the few prospects where I already knew about Bijan. I really like Jamhyr, but Zach Evans was the guy in the class that, oh my God, like, why is no one talking about Zach Evans? I loved him. I was obsessed with him. So Zach Evans to me is I guess I'm going to put my tag on him. Keep in mind, transferred to Ole Miss.
Yeah, he's an Ole Miss now, not TCU.
Now you got Matt Corral gone. Let's see what Lane Kiffin does there. But I love Zach Evans, and I truly do believe he's going to be a 2nd-round running back in the draft if he stays healthy. He's special. I mean, every touch, it feels like this dude is doing something special.
Yeah, look, it's very interesting. One thing I want to say is that when you put that in the chat, and I remember I was like, let me just go back to my notes and see if we're on the same page. And I looked at my notes and I was like, he is the guy that I'm least excited about. And I genuinely was like, did I watch the wrong tape? Is there another Zach Evans out there? Because I was like so confused. And it's not that, like, everything you said is right. Like, when you see his
obviously
stat line,
everything I said is not right.
But when I say,
how low is he?
And this is what I say, like, when you say his stat line, all that's correct. Like, he was averaging over 100, almost nearly, it feels like 100 yards a game, essentially 7.5 carries. It was out there. But the way I saw it, it kind of felt like he has the speed, he has all that. I just felt like he was lazy. And once again, I had to rewatch it again. I went to go watch all the games I watched again, and I'm glad that I did twice, because it for me, it kind of just confirmed that, like, he's just not my guy. I do see the hype and how he was a 5-star recruit. There was so much talk. I think, like, I watched or read something saying that he had offers to, like, Alabama, Georgia, and to all these places, and he he confirmed to Georgia, and then he backed out, and then he went to TCU because that was the only school that was actually able to take him. And I think it just when I was watching it and then hearing it and then reading it and watching his highlights, once again, I don't know if maybe I just don't like him or it just didn't hit the same way it hit for Zach, but I don't.
I don't know what you weren't watching, but I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like, he's my number 9 right now, and it's so confusing.
I truly like number 9 is I don't understand it, but look,
no,
this is probably going to be one of those players that we just see differently. It happens in most classes.
Yeah,
we're typically like with the quarterbacks this year, we're relatively on the same page. A couple guys we might see a little bit differently. This may just be one of those guys that we see differently. But again, like typically I talk about a player and I have some reservations. I don't know if you guys noticed when I talked about Zach Evans, I said, I don't see any real weaknesses in his game. Right. And that's a pretty confident statement. But anyway, look, maybe there's games that you've watched that I haven't watched. I was only able to watch about 3 or 4 of his games so far. And a lot of film this year is going to look different. But
and maybe
to me,
that
Zach
will change.
Evans is special. He's going to be in that conversations of where you saw Javonte Williams go in drafts, where you saw Breece Hall go in drafts. And to be honest, he has a very similar grade for me to what Javonte Williams had. So I view him very highly. So let me ask you though, who is a player that you think, running back, who you think takes the biggest leap this year?
Oh, for sure. For me, it has to be Sean Tucker out of Syracuse. Okay. He is the guy. He is my Zach Evans, essentially. I love everything about him. He's a strong, big body guy, 5'10", 210 pounds. He was the workhorse in this offense. And when you watch it and you look at the Syracuse team, he was the guy that was running everything. 12 touchdowns, nearly 1,500 yards. Everything about him. When you go through the checklist, the vision, the acceleration, everything, the strength, the speed, the touchdowns, the agility, the versatility, it's all there. One thing I put in my notes is that he's a guy that just keeps his legs going. He is a very hard man to tackle, and he can definitely get away. He can definitely, in my opinion, on the first level, can get away from those linebackers, and then he doesn't have that top end speed, but he is strong enough to bowl over those linebackers and then take you to the next level. He is a definition of a goal line back. He wasn't utilized in the pass game as much, but I do believe he could be integrated in that. He's just so strong.
Their quarterback had a lot of rushing attempts, so it was hard for him to kind of there wasn't a lot of check down opportunities.
Yeah, exactly.
Because of the quarterback play.
I mean, he can stick his foot in the ground. He can make people miss, and with his size, once again, it's weird. Like he looks like short and stocky, but at the same time, like tall and lanky, and it didn't make sense when you look at him. He just looks like a deformed person, but I think it's just because how much muscle he has and how strong he is when he runs the ball. In my opinion, Sean Tucker is a guy, and I love Jamhyr Gibbs. I believe Sean Tucker is a guy that we can see go ahead of Jamhyr Gibbs because he is a true 1-2 back, where Jamhyr Gibbs, I think, potentially could be only seen as a pass catching guy, could be only seen as a third down guy, just depending on the offense and how everything is looking. I really, really love Sean Tucker and everything that he's doing out in Syracuse. Is another year, another step that he can take. He's the guy for me.
Yeah. I watched Sean Tucker and I was definitely surprised. I think something that I wrote down about him, which, typically is used as it's typically meant to be like saying someone is average, but that's not what I'm trying to say. I said, what I wrote down is he's very sneaky. Like his burst and acceleration and just overall agility, athleticism, it's actually very sneaky. And a lot of times people use that to say someone's average, but no, it actually surprises you on plays. Like he it doesn't feel like he should have that kind of burst, that kind of acceleration. And he definitely can be a special player. I mean, let's see. I definitely liked him. I mean, if you put him in this year's class, he's probably the 3rd running back in this year's class for me off the board. So I definitely like him as well. I don't see exactly what you see, but again, these are certain players that we see differently. All right, let's talk about running backs.
Fives or something?
Well, we got to quickly talk about running backs that we're skeptical of.
Okay.
So we'll give you 2 running backs that we're skeptical of, one each. What time are we at, by the way?
We have another 10 minutes.
Okay, cool. So let's do this relatively quickly. Tank Bigsby. I don't get it. Let me know down below if there's something that I'm missing. Badake, maybe you can be someone to tell me what I'm missing, because it looks like you have him significantly higher than me. You have him, you know, almost graded the same as Sean Tucker. So I'm assuming that you're relatively high on him, or maybe that's just how it worked in the grades. I don't get it. Let me talk about what he does well. Like, he definitely allows his offensive line to open up lanes for him. And when he does that and he's, you know, patient behind the offensive line, you see a lot of successful runs. He can get to his top speed, but it takes a while. And that speed is not special. Doesn't really seem to be a running back that has the ability to create yards in space for himself. There's a lot of running backs in this class that have the agility, have the athleticism, the twitchiness, that move that they hold on to. For Tank, he's doesn't have game-changing speed, below average burst, not very good as a pass catcher. Again, like, he's good on the goal line, good in short yard scenarios, but I truly don't understand what I'm missing. And I'm saying this as like someone who's like, my opinion on him is not so solidified just yet. I genuinely want someone to comment down below and tell me what I'm missing. Tell me the game I'm supposed to watch. I watched 3 or 4 games of him.
Right.
But I'm watching his film and I'm thinking to myself, man, I hated the 2022 running back class. Like, outside of Brees and Kenneth, I hated it. I didn't want any of these guys. Yeah. And I'm watching him thinking, like, he doesn't even stand out from that class. I don't understand what I'm missing. Someone let me know. I'm supposed to be excited about this guy, but all I see is like a round 4 running back who is potentially going to be used on the goal line. It's like kind of how I feel about Brian Robinson. Like, he's just okay in certain areas, but he's not got incredible speed, not got incredible twitchiness or burst. Nothing really stands out about him other than like his strength, and I just don't get what I'm missing.
Yeah. Look, one game I definitely did watch, I think was probably his best games, was in South Carolina. And I think that was one of the ones that I saw out of the 3 or 4 games that I did watch. One thing I wanted to say, so we're not spending too much time on him, is that I literally have it in my notes. Tank can definitely be something special and can be an all-down back in the league. But is he the home running? Is he the home run hit in that position? You know, is the NFL really going to see him that way? Because the NFL is changing. Maybe he's a guy that is a change of pace back. Maybe he's the guy that's only your goal line, we're going to punch it in, kind of like what we're thinking of a Dameon Pierce right now, what we thought of Dameon Pierce before we saw him getting the starting job, you know, like a Jordan Howard type vibe where like he's only going to come in for the goal line touches, or James Conner type vibe. So can he take his game to the next level? And like, you're right, he didn't get too much get too much work in the passing game, and it's not necessary, and it's not massive, but I think with this class specifically, I think Tank has the edge purely based off his size and strength, because a lot of these guys I feel like are a little bit smaller than normal.
I agree. But they have the speed there, but there's still at least like 3 guys in that like who have great size that I like more. Like Zach Charbonnet, I liked his game a lot more. Same with Sean Tucker, the guy that you liked, and obviously Zach Evans. So anyway, again, we can't spend too much time. You guys let me know in the comments, but who are you skeptical of, Badake, that people are hyped up on?
I'm hyped up on him as well, and I felt like this was a massive contradiction, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm really high on Deuce, but I'm also the most skeptical on him. I love what Deuce brought and how successful he can be in his story. The thing that scares me is his size. He is significantly... He is so small. Let me just bring it up right here. He is 5'6", 166 pounds from what I saw from 24/7 reports there. What can he truly be in the NFL? What he has shown on the field, 235 attempts, 1,400 yards on the ground, and then on the air with 49, nearly 50 receptions. I think it's fantastic the way he's working. It's fantastic the way he's being utilized. But how can that really translate in the NFL? Is he going to come into the NFL and have or he's going to come to the NFL with an amazing college career and just be a punt returner, a kick, a kick returner? Yeah. What is really going to happen? I love everything that I saw about Deuce. I see how he could be a gadget player, but how is the NFL really going to be utilizing him? Because he's not going to be a first or second down back, and he is too small to be a third down back, it feels like, because some of those situations, you need to do chop blocks and then run off the side. You're 5'6". You're smaller.
And let me tell you what.
You're smaller than Zach.
You watch one game, you will see my guy get bowled over like a pin.
Yeah, but it's so hard to take him down. Like I've read something. It's like the tackle zone. His tackle zone is so small. Basically, it's like if you can get a hand on him or the zone of the tackle, if you miss that by the slightest, it is so hard to take him down. And then he's gone because he's so fast and he's so small. But at the same time, love what I saw. Love what he can do.
Yeah.
But is it really going to translate in the NFL? That's what's really scary about me about Deuce. But I love him.
Yeah, love the story. Again, it's very obvious that the Kansas State community is obsessed with this kid and great guy. But you're right. 5'6", 166 pounds, probably soaking wet. I mean, that is shorter than me. That's almost the same size as me. We've talked about that before. That is not a very successful NFL archetype. No, but he's incredible. If he was 5'10" and 200 pounds, he might be one of the best running backs in this class.
100%.
But he's not. And what I wrote down, which will kind of confirm what you said, is incredibly undersized. And I typically stay away from these archetypes in the NFL. He's going to be so limited in what he can offer an NFL team. Man. His size alone will make GMs put him in the box of a kick returner or at best a third down running back. He will never be a workhorse running back. He will never finish top 24 in fantasy. Great college career, but unfortunately his profile it takes him out of a box for me. And that's a good segue to Devin Akane. Let's talk about him because I know a lot of people really love Devin Akane. And I'm kind of glad that you and I are relatively in the same area. He's my 7, he's your 8. And I think honestly, look, like Devin Akane, just quickly, truly, like this dude, I can't explain this enough. He is the fastest player probably in college football. Genuine home running Olympic type speed. And you see that on every play.
Yeah.
But
you do.
The archetype, again, like Devin is a little bit taller at 5'9", 185 pounds. I don't think he's 185 pounds. No. But still, like, the archetype, it just, like, to me, it feels like he's going to be very limited. And
100%.
What I wrote down about Devin Akane is he is probably the fastest player in all of college football. Like, truly, that is actually not an overreaction. Yeah. Incredible change of direction, good contact balance, reliable hands. But again, I really do worry about what he can do in the NFL in between the tackles. Like, this is an archetype, again, that is going to be limited. I think he has an advantage over Deuce because he has a little bit more size to him. Like, Deuce on pass coverages is getting bowled over like a pin.
It's non-existent. It's not there.
But at least Devin can contribute something. Yeah. Here's what I wrote down about Devin. Seems like an ideal third down running back in the NFL. Your modern day J.D. McKissick, James White. However, his speed makes him have the upside. Keep in mind, it's the upside, the potential to be one of the best third down running backs to ever do it. Okay? So that is high praise. But again, what does that mean for fantasy? That automatically puts him in this box where he is going to be limited on what he can offer your NFL team. So, again, my comp for him was Tariq Cohen. That didn't even feel like it was right because like the speed is just like is not humanly at all.
Yeah. The one thing I did have in my notes about Devin Akane is that once again I went through a lot of articles trying to figure out, understand who he was, and somebody said this, which I thought was really, really interesting. If he actually stopped focusing on being a runner, a sprinter, and focused on like gaining weight in the weight room and really focus maybe 1 year. He takes 1 year off of the track field and 1 year in the football room, and comes in and dedicates that, he could potentially be a really amazing NFL player. Just an amazing player, not NFL player.
Let me ask you the opposite side of that coin. Does that potentially then take away, because like if you're putting on pounds, if you're putting on muscle, that might then impact your greatest asset, which is your speed. Like he's in like almost like a lose-lose situation. Like he's so small where
I guess like
you put on pounds and muscle. I mean, what you might lose that part of your game.
I guess like what if he gains like 10 pounds? I don't think he's actually losing. I could be wrong. I really don't know. But like, how much speed are you truly losing? Are you losing seconds? Or are you losing, a massive burst in your game? where I think he probably lose seconds, where like he still could be the fastest guy, but he's just a little bit stronger. He's more focused.
Yeah.
Another thing I read, he was like, if they were saying that it feels like he just comes in and says, "All right, coach, I'm ready. I'm here," and the coach just says, "Just run the ball, just go as fast as you can into this hole." You know,
it's pretty incredible. The speed is actually like pretty incredible.
And like, what more does he have to do besides being one of the fastest guys and taking it to the next level? You know, like, you don't see him much as like a pass blocker. You don't see him much in those areas. So, especially in the passing game as well. So you didn't see him much there. He was just in. Yeah. You run, you go, and Devin Kane is there. So Devin A-Train. That's what you say. Devin A-Train.
All right. I just want to quickly talk about Zach Charbonnet. I really wish he came out last year. I understand the reasons why. He was quoted to have said, like, he consulted with his family. He wanted to pursue other goals like finishing his college degree, which I can respect, honing in his pass catching skills, and he wants to win the Pac-12 championship. I really think he should have come out last year, though, because he would have probably been, again, like in that conversation for like third, fourth running back drafted in last year's class, depending on what people want. Like he very much fits a certain archetype, and that is like a first, second down power running back.
100%.
6'1", he's going to be an older back coming in now. 6'1", 220 pounds, transferred from Michigan to UCLA before last season. But what I wrote down is impressive vision. Like, I feel like he consistently shows an ability to identify the best running lane, and the combination of size, strength, vision, contact balance, the desire to keep pushing for more yards. Like, he's one of those guys who, like, he doesn't want to be taken down on the first tackle, and he does everything he can to stop it. Makes him a name to watch, at least a name to watch. Like, I think he could end up being one of these guys who, if someone wants to build a running back room and they already have their lightning, he could be like the Thunder to 100% to that lightning. So he's a name, again, Zach Charbonnet, I want to at least keep a lookout on. I like Sean Tucker a little bit more, but yeah, he was close. And then, guys like Blake, Deuce, again, Dwayne. You can see, like, there's a certain archetype that really works well in my scouting grades, and it's not the undersized running backs. Yeah. Devin's lower, Blake is lower, Deuce is lower. Dwayne, to me, he doesn't really stand out in any area.
No, he doesn't.
Compared to this class.
It doesn't. And one thing to talk about Zach, I called him Zach the Mac, like a Mack truck, because he just kept his legs trucking, and he is massive. He's a dog. He looks so strong. I like that style of play. I like that style of running back, that old school, put your shoulder down and bowl somebody over. And that's what I really liked about someone like a Dameon Pierce, because he was super strong. And I think Zach Charbonnet is a more overall fit of a Dameon Pierce, and he's just that next level up, a next level better, a more polished Dameon Pierce. And I think it is sneaky. He can definitely go, I know we haven't said any team fits. Get rid of Zach Moss. Get rid of Devin Singletary, Zach Charbonnet, James Cook. He can be the 1-2 guy with James Cook's a pass catching back. I think he fits a mold like that. And
you know what I was thinking? You were talking about Damian Harris.
Hey,
this dude looks like a Patriot to me.
Hey, that as well.
This dude looks like a Patriot.
How good is that though? Like, you want these guys in these backfields, knowing that he can get the workload, knowing how they're going to be utilized because of their size and speed. Hopefully that happens. But I like Zach Charbonnet, like you said. Yeah. Lake Crom, he's all right. Very interesting. I think is Michigan.
By the way, just quickly, like with Zach Charbonnet, last thing I'll say as well is, he is one of those guys, first, second down running back, who you could probably give him 20 carries a game. Like, he can handle that kind of work.
100%. 100%.
But I imagine him being like the Thunder to a Lightning, and probably about 10 to 15 carries a game. Like, that's what he's going to probably do. Not going to be a very good pass catcher. But anyway, I just wanted to quickly say that. But I think I've said most of my piece. I think you have no idea what you're talking about with Zach Evans. So,
hey, and I would like to be proven wrong. Once again, everything on paper, everything on paper and what you read about him is like, holy shit, like, I need to go watch this guy. Yeah. And then the way I watched him, once again, maybe I need to watch all 6 games. Maybe I didn't watch enough games. Because it just didn't hit for me. I didn't get like that holy shit, it's Zach Evans.
Yeah.
You know, like
yeah.
I didn't get taken back by it where like you went and told the world. I was like, wait, what?
I could not. You know what? I've officially stamped my name to him.
Right.
Zach Evans. And I did it on August 21st.
Bro, I went through all the leagues.
2022.
I went out to all the leagues. I was like, what? When did he say this? I was like, is he serious? I literally was like, I don't know. And I went back in my notes. I was like, I'm doing something wrong here. But I still feel confident. I want to watch it again.
Well,
and
look,
I was like, what?
We'll find out. We'll find out. There's an entire year. This list will look different. So anyway, comment down below, guys. Let us know who you love, who you don't love, who we're high on, who we're too low on. Comment down below.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos,
watch it.
You can also subscribe
right now
if you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/fantasylandfam.